You know, this was a very interesting investigation that, quite frankly, started relatively simple. It started when an online banking detective, Synchrony, came to Polk County because all of a sudden he noticed that there's a new account that pops up, and immediately $250,000 are placed in this account. So he begins an investigation on behalf of the bank, does a remarkable job, and then notifies the sheriff's office. When he notified the sheriff's office, we determined that there, and I'll give you details in a minute, but a guy by the name of Navarez was the one that opened this account. And then from that, the investigations went on, and we determined, my goodness, it's bigger and it's bigger and it's bigger. Ultimately, we served 18 search warrants with the help of and the direction of our statewide prosecutor. We also obtained subpoenas from several banks. And here's what we know. Let me give you the lineage, okay? This Antonio Penn, all right? He was the guy that was stealing the data from the M&T Bank, which is a bank group out of the Northeast United States. But his assignment at the bank didn't allow him access. He was a 5-year employee. So what did he do? He went to two of his associates, Barbara Frazee and Kamala Schaefer. Both of them had 35 plus years. And they were either giving him access to the bank data or giving him the code so that he could access the bank data. Then what he would do is, once he obtained this data, and I'll go into detail of that later on, he would send it to, we call him Oki Akushi, and Oki Akushi then would put it online with Telegram. When it went online with Telegram, people from around the world would purchase this information, and then subsequently they could set up accounts. All of the people we're talking about today, other than the tellers that provided access, had multiple accounts, some of them up to 20 or 30 accounts. And then they would buy the data offline and steal from the people. So what did General Uthmeier's team stop with our detectives and FDLE's detectives and other law enforcement agencies? What we stopped was an $8.8 million fraud and theft ring. Then Rashodo Durant there, he would also buy data, and Hassan Phillips, Michael Navarez, and Kevin Clayton, wouldn't you know it, he's here illegally, were three of the players. They were the three players we identified. And then they would push money back upstream. But understand, Durant, Phillips, Navarez, and Clayton, who we're going to talk more about in a few minutes, are only 4 of what we know of hundreds of people that stole data. The irony of it is Antonio Penn and Oki, even though they masterminded the theft of all of this money through wire transfers, they only profited about $70,000 or $80,000, and they're all broke today. So when I introduce you to these folks, it's important that you know that there's always some color to them. Antonio knew Oki because they played college football together at West Virginia. That's where they met. All of our associates knew each other. Antonio Penn liked to be known as Showtime Penn. He targeted the elderly. He called them dead-end accounts. And the general's going to speak more about that in a minute. But Oki, now, Penn's in Maryland, Okies in Missouri. He is the one that actually sold online the account data. And then from there, we know that none of this would have happened if Barbara and Kamala didn't provide access to Penn. These guys understand what's interesting about them is Hassan Phillips met Durant playing games online, computer games. He bought the data. All of them bought data. All of these had multiple accounts. This guy claimed to, at one time, work legitimately as a solar power panel retailer. Michael Navarez worked for Ring Power in Lakeland. Durant confessed. When we told him he was charged with RICO, he says, "Hey, I thought only rappers got charged with RICO." Duh. And at the end of the day, the important part is that because of the great work of our detectives and the statewide prosecutor, this entire complicated ring was brought down. So we have focused from Missouri to the northeast to Maryland to Florida. There are still hundreds of suspects out there that are not in custody that we'd love to have in custody. So with that, I want to close with a statement about Telegram. This went from teller to Telegram. Telegram is a platform that is operated out of Dubai. The CEO, Pavel Durov, was arrested in 2024 by France because he was involved in criminal enterprises online. Up until that time, they would not release any subscriber data at all, but a simple arrest by France got them to start to cooperate. But they market online that there's end-to-end encryption, and they call it a secret chat feature. That's why all of this could take place. New York Times calls Telegram the playground of criminals. So you have Telegram and Telecrook, and now we're telling everybody there's Telejail in Polk County. So these Maryland, West Virginia, Missouri people went from Telegram, Telecrook to Telejail. It was their choice.